Japan doesn't just solve daily problems. It solves them so well that everyone else's approach starts to feel like hard work. A bento box that heats itself without electricity so lunch arrives at eating temperature hours after it was packed. A lock that opens with your fingerprint so you never carry keys again. And a broth press that extracts so much flavor from stock ingredients that it tastes infinitely richer than anything made the normal way. These aren't luxury upgrades. They're practical solutions to problems most people have accepted as unavoidable. Today, we're counting down 24 Japanese ideas that instantly make life better. Watch until the end because number 24 solves a problem affecting your sleep every single night that most Western pillows have never even tried to address. Number 1. The self-heating bento box. Packed lunches arrive cold hours after preparation. By the time you're ready to eat, the food has cooled to an unappetizing temperature and tastes nothing like it did fresh. Reheating options are either unavailable or require finding a microwave that isn't always accessible. Japan produces two-chambered insulated bento boxes with an internal water chamber that activates on contact with air or a simple trigger, generating heat that warms the main food compartment to eating temperature without electricity, a flame, or any external heat source. From brands including Zojirushi and specific heating lunchbox manufacturers, the activation takes seconds, and the food stays warm throughout the entire lunch period. A meal prepared in the morning arrives at lunchtime genuinely hot rather than lukewarm. No microwave required, no reheating step, and no compromise on food quality from sitting cold for several hours. The lunch tastes the same at noon as it did when it was packed. Japan made the packed lunch self-sufficient. The cold lunch problem disappears the moment the box is sealed. Number 2. The Japanese egg tamago mold. Eggs cooked for lunch boxes always end up in irregular shape. Scrambled or folded, they take up inconsistent space, slide around the container, and produce a different result every single time, regardless of how carefully they're prepared. Japan uses specific rectangular molds placed directly in the pan that contain the egg as it sets, producing a uniform block that slices into clean, even portions every time. The mold heats alongside the egg, produces consistent thickness. Every slice comes out the same size. The portions stack neatly in the bento box without taking up more space than necessary. The result looks deliberate rather than improvised, and the consistent thickness means every piece cooks evenly rather than being overdone at the edges and underdone in the center. Japan gave egg cooking a dedicated shape. The result is always the same, and that predictability makes everything else in the lunchbox easier to organize around it. Number 3. The Dashi stock press system. Stock made by steeping ingredients and then removing them leaves significant flavor behind. The liquid absorbed during steeping contains some of the most concentrated flavor in the pot, and most of it gets discarded with the spent ingredients rather than making it into the finished broth. Japan uses a dedicated strainer basket with a press mechanism specifically for broth brewing that allows steeped ingredients to be pressed firmly before removal, extracting the absorbed liquid back into the stock. The pressing releases concentrated flavor that steeping alone never recovers. The finished stock is noticeably richer than unpressed broth because the pressed liquid carries the most concentrated portion of the entire brew. Every soup and sauce built on that stock benefits directly from the increased depth. The difference is immediately perceptible in the final dish, without adding any additional ingredients. Japan built a press specifically for the most flavor-dense liquid in the pot. Most cooking methods leave it behind entirely by accident. If you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's clever everyday innovations. And if you love discovering things you didn't even know existed, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Trust me, the next ones are even smarter. Number 4, the underbed rolling storage container. Small bedrooms run out of storage long before they run out of space. The floor beneath the bed is the largest unused volume in any bedroom, and in most Western homes, it collects dust and nothing else. Japan uses shallow rolling drawer units on casters specifically sized to fit within the clearance beneath the standard bed frame, providing organized storage for seasonal clothing, spare bedding, and overflow items. The drawers roll out completely for full access and disappear back beneath the bed, leaving no visible indication of what's stored there. Seasonal items that would otherwise pile on available surfaces have a dedicated organized space. The bedroom floor stays clear. The bed continues looking like a bed, while the space beneath it functions as a full additional storage unit that contributes significantly to the room without adding any visible footprint. Japan turned the dead space under the bed into the most discreet storage in the room. Most Western bedrooms are letting that entire volume do nothing at all. Number 5. The Japanese kitchen scissors. Standard kitchen scissors crush herbs and delicate ingredients rather than cutting them cleanly. The blades are generally too wide, the edge too dull, and the hinge creates too much resistance for anything smaller or softer than a piece of packaging. Japanese kitchen scissors from brands including Kai use slightly curved precision blades with a sharper cutting angle that slices cleanly through fresh herbs, spring onions, dried seaweed, and packaging without crushing or tearing. Many models feature blades that separate completely for thorough washing, and a specific notch for cutting through tough stems. A standard and widely used Japanese kitchen tool. Herbs cut with Japanese scissors come out cleanly sliced rather than bruised and compressed. Spring onions fall in precise rings rather than squashed irregular pieces. The scissors replace a knife and chopping board for a significant portion of prep work, reducing washing up and speeding up the overall cooking process considerably. Japan precision-engineered a kitchen tool most households treat as an afterthought. The difference between these and a standard pair is felt immediately on the first cut. Number 6. The Microfiber Dusting Cloth System. Standard dusting moves dust from one surface to another. A dry cloth or feather duster displaces particles into the air where they settle back down within hours, and cleaning sprays leave residue that attracts more dust than the untreated surface did. Japan uses a dedicated system of microfiber cloths in different textures, one for each surface type, working damp to lift dust electrostatically and trap it in the cloth fibers rather than redistributing it around the room. Different textures handle glass, wood, and appliance surfaces appropriately. Surfaces stay visibly clean longer because the dust has been physically removed rather than moved around the room. No chemical spray is needed for routine dusting. The cloths wash and reuse repeatedly, replacing disposable wipes and reducing both the cost and waste of a standard cleaning routine considerably over time. Japan replaced dusting with a system that actually removes the dust. Surfaces cleaned with microfiber stay cleaner because the dust leaves the room rather than just the surface. Number 7. Anti-mold bathroom wall paint. Bathroom walls develop mold regardless of how regularly they're cleaned. The combination of steam, humidity, and an enclosed space creates conditions that standard paint cannot resist, and cleaning becomes a maintenance task with no permanent end solution. Japan produces anti-fungal bathroom paint with built-in mold inhibitors that prevent mold from establishing itself on painted surfaces even in consistently humid conditions. Developed specifically for Japan's high humidity climate where standard paint fails within months, the compounds in the paint actively resist the growth that causes visible black spotting on bathroom walls and ceilings. Applied exactly like standard paint with no special process required, the bathroom wall stays clean between cleaning sessions rather than developing mold spots that return within days of being scrubbed. The clean result lasts significantly longer because the protection is built into the wall itself, rather than applied to the surface after the problem has already established itself. Japan put the mold solution into the paint rather than onto the wall. Most Western bathrooms are cleaning a problem the paint underneath is still actively creating. Number 8. Compression packing bags. Suitcases fill before everything needed is packed. Clothing takes up far more space than its weight justifies because fabric holds air, and the available suitcase capacity is consumed by volume long before the actual weight limit is anywhere close to being reached. Japan uses reusable vacuum-sealed compression bags that reduce clothing volume by up to 80% by removing the air trapped within folded fabric. The bags seal with a zip and compress by rolling, rather than requiring a vacuum pump. The same garments that would fill an entire suitcase compress into a fraction of the original space, while being protected from moisture and wrinkles throughout the journey. The suitcase holds significantly more clothing at the same total weight. Items stay accessible because everything is organized in flat bags, rather than piled loose throughout the case. Long-term wardrobe storage of seasonal clothing benefits from the same compression that makes travel packing more efficient. Japan compressed the packing problem into a sealable bag. The suitcase limit stops being an issue the moment the air is removed. Number 9. The Japanese Home Blood Pressure Monitor. Blood pressure is one of the most important health indicators and one of the least monitored outside clinical visits. By the time an issue is identified at a routine appointment, it may have been developing for months with no record of the trend. Japan produces compact arm blood pressure monitors designed for regular home use with memory functions and smartphone app integration that track readings over time and display trend data clearly. From brands including Omron, the global standard for home monitoring, a standard Japanese home health product used consistently across all age groups. Readings taken regularly at home provide a far more accurate picture of daily blood pressure than a single clinical measurement taken under the stress of a medical appointment. Trend data becomes available for sharing with doctors. Changes in pattern become visible before symptoms develop, providing a meaningful head start on addressing them early. Japan made cardiovascular monitoring a daily home habit. The data collected over months is worth significantly more than a single reading taken once a year. Number 10. The desk cable management box. Desk cables accumulate into a tangled mess that gets worse with every additional device added to the setup. Most people manage it by pushing the mess further behind furniture rather than finding an actual solution to the problem. Japan uses compact management boxes that sit under or beside the desk and contain the entire power strip, all adapter blocks, and all excess cable lengths inside a single enclosed unit with a lid. Only the necessary cables exit cleanly from one end. The entire tangle disappears from view completely. The desk surface and floor around it stay visibly clean and uncluttered. The dust that would otherwise accumulate inside a cable tangle has no surface to collect on. The extension lead and all adapters inside the box are protected, accessible when needed, and entirely invisible the rest of the time. Japan enclosed the cable problem behind a single box. The desk looks significantly better, and every cable inside continues working exactly as before. Number 11. The air circulator fan. Standard fans create a breeze on whoever sits in front of them and do little for the rest of the room. Hot air accumulates near the ceiling, cold air pools near the floor, and room temperature stays uneven regardless of how long the fan has been running. Japan uses air circulator fans designed specifically to move air throughout the room rather than toward a person. The concentrated airflow from brands including Iris Oyama and Balmuda creates a circulation pattern that mixes air throughout the entire space, evening out temperature differences without directing a constant breeze at anyone nearby. The room maintains a consistent temperature more efficiently because the air is being actively mixed. Stagnant zones where humidity or cooking smells accumulate are eliminated. The fan contributes to comfort throughout the entire room without being intrusive for anyone trying to focus at a desk or read in a chair. Japan separated air movement from personal cooling. The room benefits from the circulation without anyone needing to sit directly in front of it. Number 12. The Conjac sponge. Most facial sponges are synthetic, slightly abrasive, and stay damp between uses where bacteria rapidly accumulate. The cleansing tool used on the most sensitive skin on the body is often the least hygienically maintained item in the entire bathroom. The Conjac sponge is made from Conjac plant root, a natural material significantly gentler than synthetic alternatives, naturally slightly alkaline which helps balance skin, biodegradable, and considerably more resistant to bacterial growth than conventional sponges. Used wet, it cleanses the face thoroughly without the microabrasion that accelerates skin sensitivity over time. A standard Japanese skincare product from multiple brands. Facial skin is cleansed without the repeated micro damage that synthetic sponges cause over daily use. The natural material is gentle enough for continuous use without building up irritation or sensitivity. The sponge lasts considerably longer before needing replacement and disposes without leaving synthetic material behind. Japan replaced synthetic facial cleansing with a plant-based tool that works better on skin. Most Western bathrooms are still using something harder on the face than the job requires. Number 13. The Japanese vegetable peeler. Extended vegetable preparation causes hand and wrist fatigue that most people accept as an inevitable part of cooking. The repetitive motion of peeling against resistance on a standard peeler creates strain that compounds across any serious cooking session. Japanese vegetable peelers use a curved blade design that follows the natural grip contour and allows one-handed operation with minimal wrist rotation, reducing the resistance experienced with each stroke. The blade geometry positions the cutting angle to require less downward pressure while maintaining clean, even peel removal. Peeling a large batch of vegetables produces noticeably less hand fatigue than the same task with a standard tool. The reduced resistance makes the motion more fluid and consistent. The curved handle sits in a relaxed grip rather than requiring the tight hold that makes standard peelers increasingly uncomfortable during extended use. Japan engineered peeling comfort into the tool design. Most standard peelers haven't changed meaningfully in decades, and the wrist pays the price every time. Number 14. Drawer moisture absorber packs. Drawers and wardrobes develop a specific musty smell during humid months that transfers directly to stored clothing. The problem isn't the clothes themselves, but the enclosed air surrounding them. And standard fresheners add a competing fragrance without addressing the underlying cause. Japan uses small rechargeable silica gel or mineral-based moisture absorber packs placed directly inside drawers and wardrobes that pull excess humidity from the enclosed air before it can create the conditions that produce musty odor. The packs work passively without power and recharge simply by placing them in direct sunlight or a warm oven for several hours. Drawers stop developing musty smells because the moisture responsible is absorbed before it accumulates. Clothes come out of storage smelling clean rather than carrying the damp undertone of an enclosed space through an entire humid season. The solution requires no active maintenance beyond occasional recharging. Japan put the humidity solution inside the drawer rather than masking the result. The smell problem stops at its source. Number 15. The bedside charging organizer. Charging cables beside the bed create a tangled mess that gets worse with every additional device added to the nighttime routine. Phone, watch, earbuds, and tablet all need power overnight, and the cables accumulate into an unsolvable tangle that most people simply accept as part of the setup. Japan uses dedicated bedside charging organizers that sit on the nightstand or mount to the wall with specific slots for each cable, a designated platform for the phone, and compartments for power banks and adapters. Every device has a specific place, and each cable reaches it without crossing over another. Standard Japanese bedroom organization product from multiple brands. The nightstand stays clear of tangled cables. Each device charges in the same position every night without searching through a knot for the correct cable. The visual clutter a standard charging arrangement creates disappears behind a system that functions identically but takes up a fraction of the surface area. Japan organized bedside charging the same way it organizes everything else. Each cable gets a dedicated route and each device gets a platform. Number 16. The portable ultrasonic humidifier. Dry indoor air during winter causes skin tightness, sore throats, and disrupted sleep that most people attribute to the season itself rather than the air in the rooms they spend most of their time in. The problem is invisible and consistently overlooked. Japan uses compact ultrasonic humidifiers, small enough for a nightstand or desk, that add moisture to the immediate air environment without large tanks or plumbing. The ultrasonic mechanism breaks water into a fine, invisible mist that raises local humidity quickly and quietly. Skin stays hydrated overnight rather than waking dry and tight. Dry throat symptoms from sleeping in low humidity air are reduced significantly. The immediate sleep environment has a measurably different moisture level from the rest of the room, producing noticeably better morning comfort from a device that fits comfortably in one hand. Japan made personal air quality a bedside device. Dry winter air stops being the invisible seasonal problem it has been every year before. Number 17. Japanese spring cleaning ritual items. Most homes never have a genuinely comprehensive deep clean because the specific products needed aren't prepared in advance. By the time everything is assembled, the momentum to use them has already passed. Japan has an entire category of products marketed specifically around osuji, the pre-New Year whole home deep clean, including high-concentration degreaser sprays, dedicated oven and exhaust cleaning kits, microfiber brush sets for vents and tight spaces, and organizing containers for the routine itself. Products sold together specifically for the annual deep clean event rather than as general maintenance items. The annual deep clean becomes a structured and fully equipped event rather than an improvised task with whatever standard products are under the sink. Every difficult surface has a product designed specifically for it. The quality of the clean goes significantly further because the tools and products match the specific tasks involved. Japan commercialized the deep clean into a prepared annual event. Most Western homes attempt the same task with the wrong products and wonder why the result is never quite good enough. Number 18. The smart door lock system. Keys add bulk to a pocket, get lost at the worst moments, and create the permanent possibility of a lockout with no simple resolution. They require spares to be cut, distributed, and tracked across every member of the household as a completely standard ongoing hassle. Japan uses keyless electronic door locks operated by fingerprint scanner, keypad code, or smartphone app from brands including Panasonic and Maiwa. The locks secure automatically on closing and allow temporary access codes to be generated for visitors without any key duplication. A mainstream Japanese residential product rather than a premium upgrade. Arriving home with full hands requires a single touch rather than a key search. Temporary visitors get a code that expires automatically without a physical key. Lockouts become impossible. Members of the household who regularly misplace keys are given a biometric access point that has nowhere to go missing. Japan replaced the key with a fingerprint. The daily friction of a physical object required to enter your own home stops being part of the routine entirely. Number 19. The weighted sleep blanket. Restless sleep that doesn't match the hours spent in bed is one of the most common and least addressed daily problems. Most people adjust bedtimes, avoid screens, or change their mattress entirely before considering whether the sleep environment itself is missing something. Japan markets therapeutic weighted blankets filled with small glass or plastic beads, distributed evenly throughout the filling, to provide gentle, consistent pressure across the body during sleep. The weight activates the same calming physiological response as being held, reducing the nervous system activity responsible for restlessness. Available in a range of weights from multiple Japanese wellness brands. The pressure produces a noticeably calmer physical state from the first use. Falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer are the two most commonly reported outcomes. The difference is perceptible on the first night rather than requiring an adjustment period before any benefit becomes apparent. Japan brought therapeutic pressure into the sleep environment as a standard accessible product. The restless night stops being something to accept and becomes something the right blanket can address. Number 20. The Japanese posture correction device. Extended desk work introduces a slouch that most people don't notice until back and neck pain has already established itself. By the time the discomfort is noticeable, the posture habit has been forming and reinforcing for months without interruption. Japan produces wearable posture support devices that gently resist the shoulder position associated with desk slouching, providing a physical reminder to correct alignment before posture collapses rather than after. The resistance is gentle enough for full work hours and strong enough to build the muscle memory that makes correct alignment eventually automatic. The gradual slouch that develops across a workday is interrupted before it establishes itself as a permanent habit. Back and neck tension from sustained poor posture reduces over time rather than compounding. The body develops the habit of correct alignment because the device makes the incorrect position consistently and immediately noticeable. Japan put posture correction into something you wear. The pain from hours of unnoticed slouching stops accumulating before it becomes the problem that needs to be addressed. Number 21. The automatic pet water fountain. Still water bowls don't encourage cats and dogs to drink as much as they naturally need. Many pets instinctively prefer moving water and will consistently avoid a static bowl, leading to chronic low-level dehydration that contributes directly to kidney and urinary problems. Among the most common reasons for vet visits, Japan produces compact recirculating pet water fountains that keep water moving and filtering continuously throughout the day. The movement naturally attracts pets that would otherwise ignore a still bowl and encourages significantly higher daily water intake as a result. Available from multiple Japanese pet care brands in sizes suitable for cats through to larger dogs. Daily water intake increases noticeably in pets that previously ignored their bowl entirely. The filtered and aerated water stays fresher considerably longer than still water in a standard bowl. The kidney and urinary conditions associated with chronic dehydration become less likely with consistently higher hydration maintained over time. Japan solved pet hydration by making the water move. Most static bowls are producing far less daily intake than the pet actually needs. Number 22. Anti-fatigue floor mats. Standing on hard kitchen floors during meal preparation causes lower back and leg fatigue that accumulates throughout the cooking session. Most people don't connect the discomfort at the end of cooking with the surface they were standing on the entire time. Japan uses thick, cushioned anti-fatigue mats placed in front of kitchen counters and sinks where extended standing consistently occurs. The mat absorbs the impact that hard flooring transfers directly to joints with each shift in weight, reducing the cumulative fatigue that builds during any cooking session longer than 15 minutes. Lower back and leg fatigue from extended cooking is significantly reduced from the first use. Standing at the counter or sink for preparation and washing up becomes noticeably more comfortable throughout the entire session. The improvement compounds across a full meal where the absence of fatigue allows the cooking to continue comfortably rather than becoming something to rush through. Japan put comfort between the cook and the floor. The fatigue from hard kitchen tiles stops being the unavoidable cost of preparing a proper meal. Number 23. The Japanese smart rice cooker with timer. Rice timing is one of the most consistently difficult parts of coordinating a meal. It takes a precise, fixed amount of time that never quite aligns with other dishes, and the choice is always between rice ready too early or making everything else wait for it to finish. Japan produces smart rice cookers from brands including Zojirushi and Tiger, with delay timer functions that allow rice to be prepared in the morning and programmed to complete cooking at a specific time hours later, delivering perfectly hot cooked rice at the exact moment it's needed without any supervision. The timer manages the entire cook cycle independently. Rice is ready precisely when the rest of the meal is. The daily coordination problem disappears entirely because the cooker handles the timing schedule on its own. Coming home to freshly cooked rice already at serving temperature removes the most time-sensitive variable from the entire evening cooking process. Japan gave the rice cooker a scheduling function. The timing problem that affects almost every rice-based meal gets solved the night before. Number 24. The Japanese heat-conducting sleep pillow. Most pillows become uncomfortably hot within 20 minutes of sleeping on them. The heat absorbed from the face and head has nowhere to go and accumulates in the filling, eventually causing waking and the familiar pillow flip that disrupts sleep throughout the entire night. Japan produces pillows filled with cooling gel or heat-conducting materials that actively draw heat away from the contact surface and distribute it throughout the filling, rather than allowing it to build up. The surface stays at a consistent temperature throughout the night, regardless of how long it has been slept on. Turning the pillow over to find the cool side stops being part of the night. Sleep continues uninterrupted because the thermal discomfort that causes waking and repositioning is removed at the source. The morning tiredness attributed to general restlessness frequently traces directly back to the temperature problem the pillow is now handling. Japan designed the pillow around what actually disrupts sleep. The heat problem that was always accepted as just part of using a pillow simply stops happening. If you want to see more amazing things Japan is doing better than the rest of the world, then like and subscribe. And make sure to watch the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more ideas that instantly make your life better.